you ready?
I'm just kind of stupid. Not fully stupid, all right?
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weeb Club. We're back. It's real. It's happening. It's time. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
You should definitely start that episode with just like right on, I'm not fully stupid, I'm kind of stupid, or whatever the fuck I said. That's definitely the best fucking line to come back
You're
with.
not my real dad. Don't tell me what to do.
You know I'm right. I'm fucking good, I guess. I mean, I'm excited to be back. You know what I mean? I'm happy to be here, so yeah.
I'm not excited to be here. I hate it here. I didn't want to come back. I never wanted the Weeb Club to be a thing. I wanted it to stop forever. I've never asked about it coming back.
The hate in
and they're like pinging me to join.
So
it's so
toxic.
weird.
So fucking hateful.
I could be gay-assing, dude. What the fuck?
Dude, with me? That's what we're doing right now? I'm sorry?
I'm talking about the show. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about you.
Didn't you finish it?
I finished the TV series. I still have the 5 movies and the 3 other movies. So, like, a bunch of movies.
Aren't they all recaps? Wait, did the
No, they're not all recaps.
Did the sequels to the show actually come out?
I mean, there's like 5 movies about some other guy who isn't Lelouch. And then there's 3 movies.
R3's not out yet.
2 recap movies that change things slightly, and then 1 movie that changes things pretty significantly, at least the ending.
Did R3 get canceled, or?
It's still coming out. There's still going to be more stuff.
Do we know when?
We don't know when. I mean, it's not like the other one came out that long ago. I mean, Madoka's been fucking gone for centuries and nobody's saying that's canceled.
I was going to make a joke about how it's coming out on the same day as Madoka Movie 4.
Yeah, that's also canceled. I think we should start bringing the same energy to anime projects that people bring to video games. You know, like if a game's kind of disappeared for a while, people act like it's... Like, people legitimately acted like Elden Ring was never going to come out when, like, it was clear they just announced it too early, but, like, when if FromSoft ever canceled something, you know what I mean? Like, just wait and give it time.
There is absolutely vaporware, but then the Duke Nukem Forever did become a thing. It was real. Like, it was a game that came out. Like, it was also vaporware that just was in development hell for fucking, like, what, 10, 15
the big
years?
difference, yeah, and the big difference with, like, in my opinion, something like Duke Nukem Forever with something like Kingdom Hearts 3 is, like, Duke Nukem Forever did have very obvious, very out there development hell. You know what I mean? Like, the game was shown, and then, like... It was like news that the game was scrapped, and then it was shown, and then it moved developers, and then it was shown, and then it like died, and then it came back, but it went to Gearbox, and then it came out, right? Or something like that. That's like kind of close. And then like with Elden Ring, it was just like FromSoft kind of like announced, but all they said were like, hey, we're making a new game, and we're working with George R.R. Martin, and that's it. And then they didn't say anything. Yeah, but we didn't see the game, so like it was clear they announced it really early in development.
Yeah, there was like one teaser trailer with some, visuals that... and then, like, as the game got close, we got stuff eventually.
Versus, even, like, Metroid Dread, right? Where, like, or not, Prime 4, I mean. Where, we were told that they scrapped the game and went to a new developer. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's very different, where that's, like, a clear development issues. I think we should start bringing that same energy to anime now. So we haven't seen Code Geass in a while. We haven't seen fucking Madoka, dead in the water, never coming out, dead franchises.
Madoka's dead, but Code Geass is cooking. No. They're just making a new plan.
I like this new energy.
This. Anyway, do we even respond to comments? Do we care?
I don't think we do. Nope. I think it's a soft reboot. We just don't number the weeklies now, which I think people can see, but soft reboot.
Okay. So in that case, we'll jump straight into the topic, which is updating people on what the fuck happened for us this last year. Or at least that's the first part.
Craftsdwarf got Alzheimer's and then found the cure for Alzheimer's, and now he's back.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, that was his
because
whole
of that,
journey.
we lost the passcode because his Alzheimer-riddled brain changed it and then forgot it before he could tell us. In between hitting update change button and like typing it in
I got
Discord,
like
he
5
forgot it.
notifications today from Nunmanji trying to log into the Weeb Club. Like, we still don't got it set.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's because it said the same phone as mine, so I was like, okay, let me try it again. Let me see if it like what's going on, because I don't know what phone you have. It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay, so to really explain what happened is basically I have basically my best friend who I've known since freshman year of high school, over half our lives now. We were talking and I wanted to move out, so we had the idea, it's like, let's move in together. So early last year, I just said, okay, I'm gonna come over there and we're gonna find work and then we're gonna find a place to live and it'll all be square and it'll all be good. So I took kind of a risk. I was living with his dad and him for free for basically what ended up being almost a year. And I did get a new job. I wasn't in an environment where I could like easily, like, I was able to record some stuff, or even just like Vindy, we still found time to hang out and play games,
Yeah, that's
I kept in touch with Math Biz.
Just to interject really quickly, one of my favorite things is, like, I told, like, one of probably the 4 people who are gonna listen to this new episode, that, like, I had still been playing Monster Hunter with you once a week this whole time. Like, we have once a week, like we were streaming, just not streaming it, been hopping on, playing Monster Hunter for a couple hours, having the same exact conversations we would have when playing Monster Hunter, and then hop it off and be like, see you next week. Like, consistently all year. It's so funny.
Yeah, but it's just like, basically the reason I couldn't consistently do stuff was because, like, because my friend's dad would just watch TV and it would be audible in the background and I couldn't be like, hey, can you not watch TV for 2 hours? I gotta record something. Like, I'm already a guest in this house, right? So it's not like I feel like I can just say something like that. And the setup wasn't the best anyway. I only had one monitor, which is so tragic. And so I figured, like, oh, well, I'm gonna move in soon to some other place, so I could just wait and just wait and just wait, and then it became like a fucking 10 months, and it's like, well, fuck. So then eventually, yeah, because what changed is so my friend, he's like a couple months older than me. He's like, we're both 30. No, actually, yeah, he's turning 32 next month, and I turn 32 in May. His dad's like 80, okay? Because his dad had him pretty late into his life, relatively. So he's old, he's dying. We're all slowly dying, but he's a little closer. So eventually, like, after a few months of us unsuccessfully trying to get a place to live, I guess they talked about it, and they both said that it was the other who instigated it, but, like, I don't know. But what I was told by my friend was that his dad didn't want him to leave because, he's old, he's gonna need help, or like, he can't even clip his own toenails because he can't, like, reach down, so, like, just shit like that. So it's like, so I understood, so that became like, okay, I'm just gonna try and find a 1-bedroom place up there, and I'll, so I can keep my current job, and that'll be fine. That didn't work out, and so eventually my friend's dad was like, I want you to leave, and soon. And I thought about it, and I decided that if I could find a 1-bedroom up there where I had my current job and my best friend, or I could come back to where I live now, I'm basically back to where I started. And my goal being to hopefully find a 1-bedroom place here, so that I can have my own space, but I'm also, my family is here. My other friends of mine are down here. So it's just, I realized that would be easier for me. And so, yeah, I spent a year. Just end up back where I started. So yeah, great. That was my last year. Yeah, wonderful.
Wait,
great.
Now I'm confused.
Awesome.
So, are you back with your parents?
Yep, I'm exactly where I was.
Okay.
I don't want to be. I want to move out, but that's just how it is. So, so I have to find another job, and then I have to actually find a place to rent. Because the other thing is, like, the city I lived in was like, it's like a 20-25 minute drive to the city I worked in. And I was trying to find a 1-bedroom place in the city I worked in, but it was really hard to even find the time to just go look at a place because it's like a fucking hour long round trip. which is like, so I work a full-time job. It was kind of hard to find that. And so like I couldn't even really look at a place, and then there just weren't a lot of good options. And especially once the time limit came up, it got to the point where it's like even if I found a place there, it would have been picked out of desperation. And like if I can't record, I don't know if I can record there or not. I don't know if because if I just jump into something because I feel like I need to, where if I picked a place around here is like, well, it's closer. There's more going on down here. Like I live by a bunch of other cities I could potentially go to. Like I have more options down here, basically. So yeah, that's basically it, I think.
I see. Well, I didn't know the full extent of the lore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I had a year. A lot happened. A lot of it I probably won't go into. I don't know. Part of it, not good. Some of the worst, probably mental health I've had in a while for a good chunk of last year, but came out, I think, the other side. I'm just living my life right now. I've got stuff going on. I don't know.
Hey,
it's fun. I'm chilling. I know that that's like nothing to say. Like that, like doesn't help anything. But
I see you in a whole.
I really don't know what to say.
I'm sorry. That really touched my heart. That was a really emotional and harrowing tale.
No, like I know it's not. It's just like I don't know what to say. Like, what do you want me to tell you?
Everything.
It is what it is.
I know you're doing. I mean, all I know that I'm willing to say is that you're in school now. Which I mean,
I was in school the whole time. I was in school.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Or I mean, okay, yeah. I don't remember when you. Oh no, you did start as we were. That's right.
Yeah, he told us about his friend who tried the Weeb Club. Well, acquaintance, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. Who probably doesn't even exist anymore. Do you still talk to that guy?
In my life. No.
I knew it. Fucking tragic.
Yeah,
but I'm friends with a lot of the people I work with now. So I have like a couple people from work that I know from work that I hang out with. I'm a lot more social now than I was. Like even then, it's just like not with people from school. It's mostly like work.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Gotcha.
It is what it is, you know?
What about you, Mr. Nunmanji?
Yeah, you're going to be this fucking guy? What about you?
Okay, sir. I mean...
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to share everything, but...
No, you got to share. If you're going to give me shit, you got to share more than me.
I wasn't giving you shit. I was complimenting you. I was really touched by everything you said.
I, didn't say anything.
You said everything. Your actions spoke louder than your words. I could hear everything that was in your heart.
It is a whole new Vindy, but I don't think we'll see it yet.
I mean, for me, I think a lot is different, but it's also a little difficult to describe in some ways. But I mean, it's not anything that anybody necessarily cares about. It's not like I'm fucking making videos and stuff and I'm fucking cooking in that department. But I mean, I've been just trying to just be better about certain things and be like I'm kind of trying to make myself do a lot more things than usual. Like, I mean, there's the one obvious thing of like I'm about to go to school. I've actually been fucking studying like legitimately, and I don't.
Oh yeah,
study.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's kind of insane how much studying I've done in like the last couple days. It's like.
How can you even like mess with your book and stuff with your huge dick in the way though?
True. It's a very difficult. I don't even know how I do it, but it is what it is. So yeah, I've been doing that. In terms of just like, I also have been trying to like change my mindset in some ways because I feel like because of like Twitter brain rot and just like internet brain rot, I think about other people a little differently than I want to, because like I always feel like the average person that I meet, I like the average person that I meet. I have no problems with the average fucking person that you see around in the world, but it's like because people are so stupid online, it's just like, brother, I have a lot more of a negative viewpoint of people than I probably should, just based on that, even though the people that I see around are just a fraction of the people, like anyone that I could meet outside in the real world. So I mean, like, I'm trying to be a little, I guess a little less negative, and you know, I want to believe in other people, I guess.
Okay, cool.
And even in general, I've had a changed mindset in terms of like internet people, of like, even if they're very, very stupid, like actually just like provably stupid, I don't want to be the guy attacking them like a rabid dog. Like, obviously I'm on the same wave that you are, well, not quite on the same wave you are, Crafts. I mean, you're just like literally not able to see it. I'm still able to see it to some extent, but it's like, I try not to actually respond to it. Like, I don't quote retweet or reply or try to like think that arguing is going to change people's minds and stuff. And in general, I think to some extent I want to try to be a little more understanding of like where people are coming from, even if I do disagree. Just like a small instance of like, well, now I can't think of the example. It is what it is. I don't know. Just like, I don't know. I'll just try to prove it at some point that I'm a changed man in that regard to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, I think like people who have been watching the Weeb Club for a long time should expect us now to be different than we were at the beginning, than we were last time they saw us, because, you know, even from when we started the Weeb Club to, you know, when the weeklies started, to when season 2 came out, to even when season 2 like was ending, which I don't know if this is season 3 or whoever the fuck cares. But like, I think it's clear that, like, you know, as people, you know, and I mean, everyone, I'm sure in the audience has felt this, as you change and you grow, like the way you think about things changes, your opinions change, you know, it's just how it is. I don't think that'll change. I think we'll just, you know, we'll be silly
little men, I guess. Like,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, and I think people will see it as we start talking about stuff, both like in the way we talk about what we're going through, and whenever we talk about like trending topics or anything. I think it'll be interesting because, you know,
in terms of like,
but I will.
Other...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You go. No. It's my bad. I like
right.
keep pausing for like long periods of time and then saying something. That's totally on me. You go.
I was just gonna say that, like, even though I'm not cooking with like video stuff, even though like I've like the entire time that I've not been putting out anything, I've been sporadically working on a lot of different things. It's just I don't finish them, and they just get to varying stages of completion. So like, you know, like I had one thing that was like, if I ever made that, it would be probably like an hour long or some shit. But I don't know if I really like it or whatever. But it would be like easily the longest thing I've made. But I am like kind of cooking a little bit creatively, just not in any way that anyone's going to see, because like it's just like story stuff for me, because it would be very nice to actually complete a story. Like I want to, because like I think what I do is like I'll have a pretty good picture of the beginning, and I'll have a very defined picture of the end of like cool shit or like interesting shit that I want to get to, but it's like all the steps in between is like such a blank area that I've never actually been able to like fully explore and really like get from the beginning to the end. So like I really, really want to do that. And I have some like ideas that I think are actually super cool, and like if I can actually pull it off and make it like a real thing, that'd be cool. It is unfortunate though that like two of the ideas that I'm like most into right now I think are best suited for a game, and like brother, I don't know if I like
that's
like I am interested in like, if in an ideal world, right, I'd love to make a game. I'd love to learn how to make a game. But it's like if I really went down that route, that like I feel like that locks me off from like changing my mind in the future of like, oh, I actually want to I don't know, make film or something. Like there's no guy who's like, I mean, I guess Neil Druckmann's fucking involved in games.
He directed episode 2 of The Last of Us.
There's some people who are involved in like multiple shit, but it's like I'm not necessarily going to be that guy or fortunate enough to be that guy.
I mean, you know, well, there's even like, there's examples of like authors for like writing parts of games or backstories to games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know there's like crossover, and it's one of those things where it's like I would have to aim to be exceptionally popular to the point where like people would want me to be able to do like
I don't
other
think that's
shit,
true. I think you could
of.
also I think the biggest problem is that obviously like I guess to be doing high value things, yes, but like, you know, there's also like you could work towards one, but the nice thing about like the internet is it means anything that doesn't take like large teams to do, you know what I mean? You can like self do, you know what I mean? Like creatively.
Yeah,
I know
I mean
that's not a lot.
game...
I know that's not like a lot comparatively, but you know, if you did like something with drawing, like either like you know, like a comic or like a novel or music or things that you can do as one person, you can very easily self-publish and put out there.
Yeah, I get that, but it is still like I still do feel like there is an amount of risk there of like putting my eggs into like being a games guy. It becomes difficult to also do like films, for example, or TV shows or something like that. And like games have never been like my main thing that I enjoy, but like the two ideas that I have for games are like I like them so much that it's like I don't want to give up on those. And the second one especially is like I don't even know how I'm gonna like actually accomplish that, because that one's like I think mechanically and like scale wise it just seems like it seems like too large of a game for one guy to make, so I don't even know how I'm gonna do that one. But like I don't know, I'm super into the ideas that I have for those, and I've been trying to like actually map out the story for like the smaller scale one and seeing if I can actually like at least finish that, at least finish like all the story beats and like have a good idea of the characters. And something else that I've been enjoying to do is like drawing. Like I've been trying to like get into drawing, not to like I'm not ultimately aiming to be like an amazing artist, but like I think it's cool to be able to like draw just well enough to where like I can actually have a representation of what characters that I'm writing about look like. And if I were to ever have somebody like commission somebody or have somebody draw them for me, I have drawings that I've made that they can take and make into something better, which I think is super cool. Like the idea of, and like that's a little bit of like I know like Toby Fox, like Undertale, like he does that type of thing, like he draws and stuff. And I had the idea before I played Undertale and before I like learned a little bit more about him, but like I've also been like a little bit inspired by that. Like even though he's not like a great artist, I think like his drawings are still very expressive and like get across the like what the personality of the character, and that's kind of what I want. So
yeah.
God, you're so cool. Fuck. No, I mean, and unironically, like, I don't know, I just really like how you're able to check out and look into a bunch of different things. Because, like, to go back to what you were saying earlier about, like, what, you know, if you get into one thing, you might lock yourself off of other things, is like, that's mostly in time investment, because it's like, you know, if you started now and put all your time into becoming a film guy or put all your time into video games, like, it becomes in the future harder to put time into other thing.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, speaking as someone who has spent a good long time on fan fiction and was interested in writing stuff, then moved into making videos, and is now also interested in going back and writing more fan fiction while also, you know, I still want to make videos and stuff, is like the skills you learn in one area will feed into what you do later. Like I think what I learned about art and storytelling from the analysis basically like helped me or like will help me a lot when I actually like finish my you know, because I've mentioned it a couple times I think, but I'm working on a Hunter x Hunter fan fiction with original characters that I really want to finish that fucking story, because the more I think about it, it's just like really personal to me, and I think I do some interesting I have some interesting things in mind, and I've got a fair amount to write still, but I want to finish it. But like I don't think I would have been able to write this story if not for like what I learned, you know, even just about Hunter x Hunter, like analyzing it, like talking about it on the Nen show, right, and making videos on it. I have ideas regarding Hunter x Hunter that have informed what I'm doing with my original characters and ideas and settings and stuff. So I guess that's just, there's transferable skills in whatever you work on, I think. Like knowing how to draw, like if you go into games or if you go into film, like film, they use storyboards, right? Like you use drawings to get across what's happening in a frame. And, games, there's lots of design aspects that use drawing and stuff. So, like that's a very good foundational skill. Writing is knowing narrative, like having thematic idea literacy. Like these are all helpful transferable skills, and you're picking up on them one way or another. So that's really cool,
Yeah, I've also like, I know you said a lot about how like you're good at not feeling bad about making something bad or whatever. Like
yes,
yeah, like
yes,
you don't get as wrapped up in your head as like I do, which I'm trying to like keep in mind, like especially with like the drawing thing. Like I think that's the most successful I've ever been of like being fine with being bad in a sense, because like I've just been trying to take it easier on myself and not like super judge how I've been drawing, especially with like how like the way I've been drawing. Like I haven't been drawing like the absolute best that I can draw. Like my best isn't like that good, but it's better than like how I've been drawing. But like I've been making concessions and like I'm just kind of drawing very simplified like feet and hands instead of actually trying to draw hands, just so like I can push myself to actually draw something. And like I don't know, like I've been looking at like more like simplified art styles and kind of like trying to kind of do that instead of like, like most people probably want to like draw like exactly anime style, like exactly the really detailed anime style, but like I'm not really trying to do that, and I think that's been like super key in making me draw.
Okay, yeah.
It's been kind of fun.
No, I think I gotcha.
Guess that's it's with what's up with me, at least in terms of what I feel like sharing right now, or that I can think of.
That's fair. All right, well, it does kind of get to like the other half of the topic, since we are relatively, oh my god, we're already almost the 12th through the fucking year. Like January is already almost over. No.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, basically my idea was for us to share if we have any hopes or plans for what we want to accomplish this year, or work towards even.
Yeah, I can go first, I guess, because mine is probably the simplest. The closest I had to a New Year's resolution was I wanted to read a book a month this year, and I read 2 last month, and then took a little bit of a break. And I don't know what to count what I'm reading right now, because I'm almost done with a novella, so like it's not actually a book, but like I might count it as half a book. And then if I read another novella, count that as another book. You know what I mean?
Or count them together as a book. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah. So like I would count myself as at 2.5 in like January. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what I would like to do. I don't know if I'll actually make it happen, but that's like the closest I can say. I don't really have any creative plans right now because I'm trying to figure out like everything else in my life.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I guess for me is so I mean personal life stuff. Find a job, get a place to live. As I was kind of getting at before. Aside from that, like creatively, I have fan fiction stuff I want to do. I do have videos I want to do. Like I guess to share. So, I mean, honestly, most of the video ideas are ones that I've talked about before. Like I think I mentioned wanting to do a Boruto video. I mentioned a Danganronpa video. I have one
most
scripted
excited for the
that I just need to.
one.
Yes, I understand. I have a video on manga paneling that I've kind of talked about on Discord and stuff, or at least I talked about like the how like what I want to bring up at least. I'm going to be starting the Nen show this year. I already started. What was it? Yeah, today or was it yesterday? I reread Reverie and part of the start of the Wano reread that I'm doing for the Nen show. So I'm probably going to be making a Wano video. That's not a guarantee. That's just like, it's a fucking 100 chapter arc. How do I not have anything to say about it? Or 150 chapter arc. So I'd just be surprised if I didn't have anything to say about it. And then I might have other ideas. I don't know. Because I have a couple that I wrote down a little while ago that I might want to do, but now I'm thinking I might not. I don't know. But those are what I was at least initially planning to do. And then as far as backlog stuff, I'm doing I did do a bunch of my anime favorites last year, but then I decided I was also gonna watch like Precure and Ashina Joe and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Since I added all those long ones, I wasn't able to finish last year. So and also got kind of burnt out. So I decided that I'm gonna do the manga reread this year, and then I'm going to finish the anime rewatch next year. Then I have some other dailies and stuff. I have a bunch of other stuff I started that I want to finish, like shows. Like I started Major and She-Ra and Twin Peaks. Video game franchises. I have a few that I want to just knock out that I already started, like Muv-Luv and Danganronpa. I still have to play Danganronpa S. Devil May Cry. I want to get back to that. Shin Megami Tensei up to a point. So yeah, that about covers it for me, I think.
Yeah. Cool.
Vindy.
Do we want to talk
Anything
about or what?
I was gonna
Actually,
ask
you
Nunn
go.
if he had anything to share, but Nunn didn't talk about his stuff already.
Oh.
The year.
You don't want to share
Right.
your hopes and goals and stuff, Vindy Fondo?
I said the book thing. I don't know if I have anything really more
Yeah.
definitive. I'm focusing right. I'm pretty busy right now, like in real life is part of it. And like I don't know. I am still trying to figure out a lot of other stuff. I've been thinking more. I don't know. I guess I can give some specific media stuff. I would like to be caught up to, if anyone knows, like the Cosmere, like the novel shit, like the book shit, by Brandon
Only
Sanderson.
what you've told me.
I'd like to be caught up to that by realistically like March. Well, I say March, maybe a little bit later. By the time I would like to, by the time I get the physical for the next secret project, be caught up to that. So I have 7. See, it'd be a lot of reading, but it's 8 novels and another novella, and then I'm caught up. So it's not too much realistically. If I actually really try, I could do it. I don't know. I have some gay. The problem is when I say something is then it becomes I put it out there, and realistically, there's so much stuff that I say I want to do or I try to do that I never do. And I want to save some of the stuff I'm currently doing. I don't know. I would like to finish Elden Ring this year. I'm chugging along very slowly at that game. I've been saying it for a year now. I would like to fucking go through all of Star Wars, especially now that people liked Andor. I really want to go through everything, exhaustively, including games. I'd
You're
like
not
to get
gonna
back to the
finish the
Yakuza
cartoon.
series. Like to catch up to FF14. I have so much shit that I'm just mentally ill. It's I don't know. Realistically, here's what's gonna happen. I might try doing other things, but I know because the weekend that I was able to play Street Fighter 6 in that beta with 5 characters or 6 characters or whatever, I played 20 hours in basically 2 days. Once July 2nd comes or whatever and Street Fighter comes out, that's all I'm doing for 2 months, and it's gonna completely disrupt my year. So, that's all I really care about. Honestly, actually, looking forward at my year, it is just Street Fighter 6. Once that comes out, I am not talking to anyone. I'm not even recording this podcast. Goodbye. You know what I mean?
Sick.
Okay. Sad.
I guess just my biggest goal. It's not really related to this podcast or anything, but it's I just want to be better
None of my
at
goals were
being
related to this podcast, don't worry.
myself. I really liked something that Vindy said once of just aggressively be yourself. It's kind of a very good way of thinking, I think. I feel when there was also something that I forget where I saw this or who said this, but it was something about just turning off the filter you have in your brain that prevents you from saying things that you're thinking, and just say the things you're thinking, because you a lot of people are more interesting than they think they are, but they just hold back what they're thinking too much, and they don't express how they actually feel. So it's kind of what I want to do. In terms of media stuff that I want to go through this year, I want to finish the Johto portion, the Gen 2 part of Pokemon, the anime. I was doing pretty well with that, but then I was like not able to watch for like 6 or 7 days because I wasn't at home, so I couldn't. I was doing 2 episodes every morning, or like mostly in the morning. Sometimes it would like lean into not quite the morning, but it is what it is. Um, I wanna finish all of Code Geass, like all those like movies with Akito, the blue haired random guy, and also the 2 recap movies and the kind of recap but also not movie. Um, Obviously, I want to finish Roboco's anime. Um, I do want to
Powerful.
reread Rave Master and finish the fairy tale manga. Uh, Something that I wanted to do was actually go through like all versions of The Great Gatsby, like literally like
Oh,
all movie
interesting.
versions. Um, the book. I know there was like when I was looking it up, there was some kind of show that like had
Oh, a
an
miniseries?
episode. Yeah, it was like some
Or oh,
miniseries thing that had
okay.
an episode that was like a Great Gatsby episode or whatever, and I was like
Oh, that's
Okay.
had
cool.
that on my list as well. I'm not gonna watch that whole show because it's not related to Great Gatsby, but it was like
Yeah.
some kind of thing. I don't remember the information about it because it's been a while since I looked that up. Um, I want to finish Mason Ikoku. I've been reading that. Um, it's one of the manga by Rumiko Takahashi. It's way shorter than her other stuff, but even with that, I've been struggling to finish it. It's like this curse that I have with her of like, I'm always super into everything that I've tried from her, like at the start, but like over time, it just becomes difficult for me to read and finish it. I guess the exception of like one of her short series that I don't really care about it like at all. But it's literally like a one shot thing. And I did just watch like the OVA version of it. So I mean, maybe the fucking manga version of it's like super great or something, but I don't really count that. But yeah, I want to finish Mason Ikoku. I'm really terrible with Urusei Yatsura. I'm reading Urusei Yatsura and I'm reading Mason Ikoku, and I've also started the Urusei Yatsura anime. I didn't even include Urusei Yatsura on the things that I want to finish because I don't think I'm going to finish the manga or the anime. But Mason Ikoku is a lot shorter. I should be able to do it, and I do. I don't know if I like it more than Urusei Yatsura or not, but there's like certain parts of it that I like more because it is like a little more dramatic and a little more serious at times, and there is like a more emotional core there with what the fuck is his name? The name of Atsuru from Urusei Yatsura comes to mind easier. Oh, Godai from Mason Ikoku. Like his thing of like chase like he has whatchamacallit, like he has the school troubles that he's dealing with of being kind of a failure for the beginning portion of the series, and then to now like he's finally made it, but he has to balance school and chasing after the woman he likes, and just kind of being put down by life. Like I think there's very good things there with Mason Ikoku that Urusei Yatsura doesn't do as much. So I mean, I'm a little more into it. So I want to finish that, but can't think of
Mhm.
much else that I'm trying to aim to finish. I have like a lot of stuff that I'm interested in, but like I don't want to make too many promises on what I finish. I do want to watch more like live action shows and movies though. That's like a big thing I want to do. I'm watching
Yeah, I
Psych
watch a
right now.
lot of TV right now. That's one thing I probably should have also said is that I've been a big TV watcher recently.
Euphoria was super good, and Psych right now is pretty funny and nice.
So I guess to finish that off, I don't know if we want to talk about any specific Weeb Club plans that we have because we do have
No,
ideas. Okay.
Yeah, no.
because the way we could maybe explain how we're handling uploads, but I think because of the way we're doing that, it's not smart to get people's expectations up for content that realistically will come out on a very like loose time frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. Um, but at least as far as uploads goes, we're going to continue to do the weeklies. Everything else will come out when it comes out. We don't really think we'll be able to do a 2 videos a week anymore.
no shot.
I mean, if that's what we can do, we'll do it. But we'll see. And then other than that, like I'm looking forward to some of the stuff that we have ideas for. Some of it we have to do, some of it we have to redo. Some of it,
Sad.
I don't know if we have anything in the backlog, but yeah. But yeah. So I guess that's about it for the topic.
Yeah.
Okay. So aside from that, what did we do? What did we do after the topic? We just go into the back, or
Yeah, it was the
No,
back-
it was actually the Patreon show, which I guess we haven't. Do we want to bring that back? I will bring back the Patreon seasonal. I love
Yeah,
the Patreon
that's
seasonal.
fine.
That shit's fun as fuck. Except for the fact, I think if we do it though, I want to make a new like an addendum. We cannot just watch whatever the hot new Jump adaptation is. That is barred from the polling. It's too boring. I don't want to just watch Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't want to just watch.
You don't want to
Chainsaw
watch
Man.
Orient, dude? What the hell?
No, I don't want to
No,
watch.
it's like, no, literally everything we've watched, I'm pretty sure, is literally just the most popular thing that
Yeah,
was like that.
Like,
It's
so-
like the most popular show this season that wasn't a sequel,
like a sequel,
or
yeah.
something that we couldn't.
And I think we just
I'm
bar
pretty
that.
sure.
I think it's too boring. I'm over it. All right, something fucking exciting. Pick something
How about
wild.
this? Since the problem right now is that the season's already like 4 weeks in.
Yeah, so just wait till next. We'll just wait till next.
Well, I was gonna say another thing is if people want to, especially our patrons, want to suggest alternatives, like how a way we can have patrons pick a show for us, but also have it not just be the best, most popular, whatever show. Like if people want to suggest something in the meantime, that would be fucking great.
I mean, at the very least, next season, there's like not a clear, just the most popular shonen thing. Because like all like the others, like there's Doctor Stone, but that's a sequel, Kimetsu sequel, Attack on Titan sequel. So it's not really anything they can like just pick.
Yeah, I mean, there's Vinland Saga, Tokyo Revengers, all sequels. Nagatoro sequel, Bungo
like,
Stray Dog.
I'd
Oh,
look at what's the
no,
most
it'd be the
popular-
Nier show. People would want us to watch the fucking Nier show, especially since Crafts didn't like the game. I did, and you're here. Or wait, no, next season. I'm looking at this season. I'm fucking mentally.
I
I'm
didn't like
so
the
sorry.
I
game
was about to
either,
say,
but I
wait,
didn't
Nier.
finish it.
Yeah, it's Jigo
watching that
Karaku
right
would be
now.
it's Jigo Karaku's the big fucking one. None, you're fucking silly.
What?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just look at the most popular show. That's
Yeah, it's literally Jigo Karaku.
What is that?
Hell's Paradise. It's like, isn't it on the Jump app?
Hell's Paradise.
Am I, like,
don't
fucking
know what
ill?
that is.
Craftsdwarf, help me.
What are you talking?
No,
I
it's in
mean, I'm
Jump
just-
Plus. It's on the Jump app.
What is Hell's
yeah,
Paradise?
it's the most popular show. That,
Yeah. So there is
if
a
it's
big
sequel-
Jump adaptation next fucking.
I'm not seeing
Please.
that.
You don't think Shueisha have their grubby little fingers in every season?
But yeah, we'll figure that out as we go. And that was it before we got to the backlog.
Oh my god,
revisions,
Kuma Kuma Bear season 2 Craftsdwarf. We have to.
right?
Oh, Mashl's next season. Sheesh.
Oh yeah, okay. I saw that, but I don't know why I didn't register in my brain of like that is a possible one. I've never seen Hell's Paradise. I'm looking at the poster right now. I don't know what this is.
Have you ever looked at the Jump app before in your life?
I've looked at it a very long time ago. I'm looking at the manga cover. I also don't recognize this.
This fucking guy.
It is what it is. It's bad. It's no Chainsaw Man.
So anyway, what I wanted to say about the backlog stuff is that, like, because obviously we all went through a bunch of shit last year on our own that we didn't get a chance to talk about. I personally have a list of things that I think I can still talk about, but I think we also might approach it in a topic of stuff that we like maybe could have talked about but don't feel like anymore or don't want to anymore.
Yeah, I think if we do like when we talk about like the stuff we did, we should actually for this episode keep it to stuff in the last week. I think that's more fun. Like genuinely.
Okay.
Sad.
Save other stuff for another time because I actually didn't prepare a list. I would like to because I did not think that was what we were doing this week. So.
Oh, well, I prepared a list. I was prepared to talk about that stuff, and now I have to talk about something from last week. I mean, I do have something.
Yeah, but it was within the last week. What do you mean?
Okay, I was a little more
I mean, I don't know.
looking
if I
forward
can.
to
It
that
depends.
list, but
Because
Okay,
I mean, I
guess you can
last
pick
week has
something
been
from
doing
the
something
list.
for a bit, but I don't even know if the bit'll. It's not my. I don't know.
yeah, you just
What?
ruined everything.
I need
Actually
to know what
weird.
that is. Hello? What? I'm sorry? You can't just leave it at that. I need more information. What's the bit? What's the...
Well, you'll see when the bit, because I know it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
this
Nun, you're
guy.
first.
Oh, I forgot I was first since I was waiting for you to go first.
Oh my god, I
I'm
can't...
never
believe
Actually
first.
weird. Okay.
I forgot
dude.
none was first.
Yeah, I forgot it was like that because I'm usually not first. So like when we first started doing these, it was like
I can't wait for it to
I'm
come out.
first
None
on
was
this.
never first, and Crafts is actually gaslighting us.
True.
Well, I remember
the
when
world
we
I
did it
wanna
the first
live in.
time. I picked Nun first because he'd been quiet for a lot of the episode, and I wanted to hear him talk. And then, so the idea was that for the backlogs, we do the reverse order of the order
Okay,
that the
right,
score
well,
stuff in.
it is what it is.
See, the problem is I always just was in the middle, so it never like mattered to me.
I see.
Well,
Anyway, Nun, what's up?
at first I was thinking I didn't have anything from this week, but then I remembered the thing in my profile picture, my literal profile picture right now. Code Geass. Actually, Code Geass. What can I even say, dude? What can I say that hasn't been
not
said
good
about
things,
such
Jimmy.
a legendary series? I mean, I'm just gonna start off with the fact that I like it, like in a completely unironic way. I feel like everybody likes to assume that it's like ironic. Like maybe when I first watched it, to some extent, there was a little more irony there. Like I still liked it then, but like if I were to describe like the ratio of me liking it to being ironic, maybe a 30% like it was ironic at 30% and then 70% genuine or something. But now it's like it's mostly not ironic like at all. Like it's not really fucking I can't really think of any super it's super funny in a not actually good way. I guess this, like the start off is like I really think Lelouch is like genuinely a really good character that I really like. Like he just has a lot of aspects that I like in other characters, and like I think the best thing about him is literally just like how human he is. Cause like I feel like personally before I watched Code Geass, I would have assumed he was more of a light type of character. Like I would have just assumed he was just like kind of like light, but he really isn't. And like not that
Like
light
really
isn't
smart, but
good.
also kind of fucking like insane and has to be
like I didn't
sociopathic to do make the choices he does.
Yeah, like I just didn't assume that he would actually be like at like in his heart of hearts somewhat of a good person. Like I just didn't think
And
that.
also, like, at the end of the day, like, he did win. You know what I mean? Like, Light just fucking loses, right? At the end of the series. But, like, you know, I think any way you want to look at
spoilers for Code Geass. Skip this part of
No. I'm not even gonna like say anything spoilers. I'm gonna say just if you want to take the series as ending at face value without the announcement of R3 or not. I think like no matter like either way, if that makes sense. I could type it out another way, or if like I guess whatever. But like either way, he wins in the end. You know what I mean? And that is not what happens in Death Note. So like that's already also pretty different because like you know for him to win in the end, it shows that like he isn't completely wrong. It was just like the way he was going about it was wrong versus like Light was wrong in the end. You know what I mean?
What I think is super great about Lelouch is just the fact that like all of the people around him, Lelouch cares about them. Like literally like almost every single one of them. Yeah. And like it's to the extent of like he'll literally lose and have all of these failures because he's trying to look out for other people. Like the fact that Nunnally is like his main motivation and main drive to change the world is already like a huge difference from like what I would have assumed just outside looking in. And the fact that like he's so like autistic about Nunnally to the point where it's like so endearing and also funny, but like not in a like haha Code Geass bad, it's funny. Like it's funny and like I like partially like it is definitely intentional, like characters point it out. And like the thing I think is really like a moment that really stood out to me is like in season 2 where Lelouch has to lie to Nunnally to convince Suzaku of something, but like he literally like cannot lie to Nunnally. Like he just says like I cannot lie to Nunnally, like the one person. So like he literally just has to be bailed out of the situation because of that.
Yeah, and like the other thing is like as much wrong as like Lelouch does, right? And like I don't think the series shies away from the idea that like, you know, sometimes his actions and the way he's going about things are wrong. Like he still isn't as bad as the people he's, you know what I mean? Like
the people he's fighting. Like yes, like
like the Britannian Empire is still way worse and do way worse things than anything he does, even though he like literally is a domestic terrorist.
Mm-hmm. And like seeing Lelouch also kind of like constantly have to like question what he's doing and like what he thinks is right just because of like the people that he eventually just like outright acknowledges that he cares about, and you know, basically doesn't want a world without them, is like just really good. Like there's no way that I just that I can't be into it. And I also just think like like the logic that the show uses for like his thinking and his plans, I really don't see like an insane amount of fault there. Like there's only like a few things where like I'm like, all right, that's a little much, and most of them are like second half of R2. Like one instance is like, do you know who like Jeremiah is? Like that blue haired guy who Lelouch calls Orange.
Dude, I'm so like, you just like stumbled. I gotta look this up. Okay, this guy.
Yeah,
you said that to me, and it fucking stun-locked me. Like everything you were saying, just like I've seen Code Geass, and it sounded like gibberish.
Okay, well,
I haven't seen it, so it's because I've seen discussion about Code Geass. Like I can mention some things because it's a very popular show. I've never seen it, but I've never heard anything about any of this. And the fact that he's hair, why is he what? Explain. Anyway, keep going.
And like I do think that like, you know, the thing with Code Geass, I feel like, is like there are some moments that even looking back I really like. You know what I mean? Like there's some moments that are really fucking good. I also, though, I think the show is like stupid as fuck in sometimes a good way and an endearing and fun way. Like the more I think about it, the more they kill all
steals his mask, and there's a whole episode where he like, oh my god, I can't get caught in such a stupid way. The kill all the Japanese moment is funny as fuck, and I bet watching it again, I would like it a lot more than I did at 18, where I don't think I got the appeal of silly, haha, funny, dumb shit. That being said, like, how do I explain this? Like, I feel like even looking back, some of the shit in R2, especially like the middle ending, like right before the very ending section of R2, is almost like too chaotic and too insane. No, I actually agree with that, because like I thought there was just too much stuff happening. Like like second half of R2 is like where I have like the most like, I don't know how to feel about this, and like I feel like I literally have to rewatch that portion of the show because
maybe
like
you're
I couldn't
convincing me
fully follow that
to give
part.
the show another shot, because like I do love sometimes endings and stories where like there's just too much going on. You know what I mean? I love me a good Nomura ending. You know, a good fucking Kingdom Hearts slobber knocker of an ending where it's just like, I don't know what's going on for half of this. You know what I mean? But also like 7R was too much for me. You know what I mean? So you're maybe convincing me to go back, but like I do feel like it got like too much. And then like I still think the ending is really good and fits in line with like the rest of the series super well. And I don't think the series, like, you know, ever does anything like super egregious, but also like, I don't know.
Like, honestly,
it's really dumb at points.
Lelouch is such a like fun character to watch, because like I feel like he partially has that like Craftsdwarf, you know how like you like Sasuke's edginess, and you like think it like you think it's funny, but it's like you don't like that funniness doesn't take away from like the other aspects of him. Lelouch is just like that kind of character taken to a further extreme, I feel like. And especially when like characters in the show make fun of him for that, like CC and Colin, and like he like gets called out for being a child or being too emotional, and like there's all these like moments that people don't talk about when they talk about Code Geass. Like they act like Code Geass like is just completely unaware of that. And like I know to some extent, like there's some moments where like I'm sure it is like a little stupid and the show like isn't fully acknowledging that, but like most of the time I do feel like it is acknowledging that, and I don't think it gets enough credit for that.
Part of it is like from the beginning, right? And one of like my favorite chunk, just like remembering of the show, is like those first like 11 episodes where like it is just kind of Lelouch doing like these small pieces of terrorism, and then also like a large part of it is when he puts on the mask, like he's doing this level of showmanship because he's trying to do something, like he's trying to stir something in people. So like
people call him like goofy really and like.
But he's like doing it for a purpose, and like you can see it, and you can see like the stir he's causing within the people. So I think it works really well for the story. Like I think it's like actually like good, you know?
Yeah, and it sounds like people are treating him kind of like the same way they treat Kirito, where they're like hyper fixating on these very specific parts of his character and not thinking about the whole character. right? Like where Kirito there, he's like, oh, he's so cool and edgy, the Mary, but it's like, no, he's a fucking dope. He's putting on these airs because he's fucking afraid, like all that kind of shit, right? Like,
yeah,
it sounds like for Lelouch, it's like, yeah, he's goofy for a reason, and yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, also like the whole series is goofy, like it's like
yeah, like
ridiculously,
the fact that
insanely sexual, and they're also like their proportions are so silly. Like everything about the series is just goofy, silly.
Well, it's the designs are clamp, right?
Yeah, but like they're like, I feel like they're like turbo clamp with how long they are at points.
I've seen the one where I think it's like, well, like there's one character who fell off
holding
and
another character
who
holding another
and
character.
I've seen the stitch of that where it's like they're just really like there's like fucking 20 feet of dude there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's
between the three of them, like fucking hell.
Like the fact that R2, after the conclusion of season 1, if they really wanted to, they could have gotten rid of like some of the silly like school bullshit. Like after that conclusion, they could have just completely just did like full in on like the terrorists, the war, all that stuff. But like R2 still had like found a way to put the school stuff in there in its own weird way, which just shows like that is a part of the series that like they didn't necessarily want to let go of. I don't think the school stuff is as good in R2. Like I'm not gonna pretend like it is, because like certain like because of what's going on, it's like hard to get as into it. I don't really want to spoil Code Geass like too much of like why I feel that way, but it's still there, and there's still like goofy stuff of like, oh, like even CC, like people are literally looking for CC like more, like even more in R2 to like do like crazy shit, but like she still finds a way to be in the school and fall into a giant vat of tomatoes when they're trying to make a big pizza with a Big Mac. Like it's still very silly and absurd.
Yeah.
And like they show like Colin in that suit wearing almost nothing, and like, brother, man, like, come on.
The biggest thing I can say right now, that like I will still say, like I think even rewatching it, my opinion will not change because I just looked them up now. Not the biggest fan of the mecha designs in the series.
Oh,
That's
I mean,
not
yeah,
like a big deal at all. Like, yeah, like I don't think, like I have struggled to call it a mecha series, even though it like is like definitively one. And I think like, you know, any other major mecha series you're gonna watch is just gonna have cooler fucking robots. So like I definitely understand when mecha fans complain about Code Geass, because like, yeah, you weren't getting what you wanted. You know what I mean?
It is what it is.
Yeah, but like that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I think the show has other positives, and I actually kind of hate that we've talked about it here because you've completely like turned my mind, and I like legitimately want to rewatch Code Geass right now.
Yeah, like it's like it's just fun because it's like it's fun in ways that people don't recognize, and like I just think it takes a different way of looking at it to enjoy it. Like I don't think it's like the best. Like I you know, I have problems with it, and like I don't really think that many of its characters
so
are
it's
that
unreal.
Great. But like Lelouch is really good. I like Colin. CC's good. Suzaku's terrible. He's so stupid.
No,
he's a good character.
I hated
like,
Suzaku when I first watched it.
He's
the
dumb.
worst.
He's terrible. Like I literally had to go into VC with Dot, who hasn't seen Code Geass, to scream about Suzaku.
He's so. I feel like the entire time after like, especially R2, I feel like he's just so infuriating, and he like does not deserve the ending that happens to him. Like he just doesn't. Okay, like fuck Suzaku. I agree with you. I cannot stand that guy. Actually,
like the worst thing about Suzaku is just the fact that he literally cannot explain himself for the life of him. Like he dodges questions
like
so like all the time. It's insane.
He's like if Rossiu sucked. You know what I mean?
True.
Like Rossiu's the fucking goat, and I love Rossiu. You know what I mean? And like, you know, in the past, have I said different? Yes. Now, do I say that I love Rossiu? Yes. He is not, like, Suzaku is not good, and he does not, I think, like, I guess, like, you know, he makes sense in some of the decisions he makes, but also he's like the most infuriating character like of all time. Like I just cannot stand him. And I hate everything about him and everything he does. It's like if he could do something to piss me off and make me hate him, he does it. It's unreal.
Like he literally thinks as literally one guy. He's gonna change one of the evilest evilest governments on the planet Like it's it's just insane.
Yeah,
the
it's
idea
like the
of that
entire
guy in real life.
everything that he sees is like, hey, you cannot change the system being a part of it. You will never change the system being a part of it. The system is flawed. And he's like, but if I follow the system really hard, maybe this time. It's like, dude, are you
Holy shit.
like he's just
Oh my
stupid
God.
the entire series. It feels like he's not actually learning because he'll like lose trying to follow the system. He's like, this is the way to do it, guys. We just have to be better. Like, Suzaku, stop. You have problems. Dude, oh my God, I'm getting angry. I'm getting heated.
He's just so bad in so many ways. Like and again, I don't mean bad. Like, I feel like people who like Suzaku or don't think of him the way I think of him will take me saying bad as like badly.
If you like Suzaku, you're a fucking fed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, oh my God, like the idea
Literal narc
of
behavior.
that. Like, imagine thinking that like you can just join any government of the world as one guy and stop them from doing terrible actions. Like yeah, dude, I'm gonna join in on the Korean government with Kim Jong-un and somehow stop him from doing all these
Dennis Rodman
things.
will find a way, okay?
Like, if you just think about it for 2
I'm
seconds,
gonna kill
he's
myself.
so stupid. Like,
I didn't
actually.
understand the reference. I'm sorry. I don't pay attention to
I'm
anything.
legitimately really upset because like that's a funny joke, like that's a good one, and it just like got like I'm so upset. I'm actually gonna tell Dan to listen to this episode because he'll at least get me. So I actually am gonna explain the joke now. Grow up. Dennis Rodman, like basketball player, played on like the Bulls, like with Michael Jordan, like the most winningest basketball team of all time. He's like really good friends with Kim Jong-un, who's like a big basketball fan.
Oh my
And
God.
so he like actually goes to North Korea all the time. He's, like, with him all the time. Not all the time, but like is like, publicly seen in North Korea with Kim Jong-un and stuff.
Okay.
So that was like the joke. But now I explained it. Now it's not funny. Who cares? But y'all are educated now, and that's what really matters.
Like, the craziest thing is just like how much he talks down to like Lelouch and everything Lelouch is doing while serving literally the evilest guy on the planet. Like once he, like on R2 especially, it becomes insane to like justify like Suzaku and what he's doing when he's like directly working under the Emperor in R2 and he's met the Emperor in R2. He's like, it was episode 5 of I think it was episode 5 of season 2 where I just lost it when he literally uses Nunnally to like screw over Lelouch, because if Nunnally confirms the thing he's trying to find out, then Lelouch is basically gonna die, which is like using like it's just like insane on so many levels. The fact that like Nunnally wants nothing else but to be with Lelouch, and that's like her single happiness, but he's using her as bait for Lelouch, which would indirectly mean that like what Nunnally's doing here is going to end up in resulting in Lelouch's death, which is just like, brother, I hate this guy. I hate Suzaku so much. Like, he's so terrible.
All right, do you want to move on from Code Geass?
No,
Code
I
Geass,
need to
as
explain
some people
one
say.
more thing about this Suzaku
Okay,
guy.
go off, King.
Like,
Let me hear it.
Even when Lelouch is like being a little embarrassed by like other people when he like kind of tries to not fully acknowledge how he feels or like not fully explain something, he still tries to give an answer. But Suzaku's like the opposite, where like he'll just say like, oh, if the system's wrong, then I'd rather die anyway. But like he's already like contributing to the system hurting other people, so him dying and being out of this world isn't really gonna like change that or reverse the damage that he's doing by doing all these actions. I feel like people who like Suzaku have like the only benefit of the doubt that I can give people who like Suzaku a lot is just like very, very, very different times for a lot of people who have watched Code Geass back in like it came out 2007 or 8 or something. I think people just wouldn't have thought about it in the same kind of way people do now in such a I guess politically charged time or whatever. Kind of, sort of, maybe. Mm-hmm. Guess it's your turn, Vindy, Vondo.
I don't know. Okay. Sorry, give me a second to think. I know I should have been, but I was
about
like,
to
actually
say it was you're the one who's like, oh, we should do it within a certain time frame.
Yeah, no,
But
you're
we're
right.
gonna
You're
pick.
right. You're right.
What?
But here's the thing. I was going to think about it while none was going, but then I got really engaged in the Code Geass discussion. And I stopped thinking.
You stopped thinking
okay.
much
Give me
like
1 second.
Suzaku.
Honestly, true. Here's the biggest problem is like a lot of stuff that I'm going through right now is like either Weeb Club stuff or I'm not at a point to talk about it, right? Like it's like longer stuff or stuff that I'm not done with. I'll talk about the novella I'm reading right now, I guess, just because like it's quick, it's easy, and I can say something about it, and I don't need to talk about when I finish it, and I'll explain why. So I'm reading. So I need to explain really quickly for none, and then for the viewers that don't know, because I'm going to be talking about these books a fucking lot because I really like the ones I've read. And I actually like I would consider it like legitimately life-changing fiction for me. So I think I might have talked about on the Weeb Club originally when I read like the first 2 Stormlight Archive books.
You talked about at least one of the books before, for sure.
I finished the series, but I finished book 2 and then I put like the series on hold until like November, and then I finished book 3 in like the end of November, and then in like December I read like book 4, which like it's like a 1,300 page book. Read it in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It was tough. Since then I've read 2 more books and a couple short stories by him. But I've read to explain this, none. So like the guy, Brandon Sanderson, is like a fantasy author, right? And so he writes like different series, but some of his series are connected in like a larger universe. Okay. So they're like, but they're not like, okay, they kind of are directly connected, but it's like psychotic. So not like they're on different planets entirely. And like the way I would describe it is like the individual stories are fantasy stories, but the overarching stuff is like super sci-fi, right? Like it's different planets, and like the world follows these very hard mechanics that are the same across like every book in this larger series. But because of the way the universe is like built on different planets and like in different stories, they have completely different magic systems, but all the magic systems still follow like very different systems follow the same overarching mechanics. It's fucking psychotic. Okay. But like, there's like kind of a plan that is kind of known about, kind of not, but eventually they all connect. But I've been reading a novella that is actually a Stormlight novella. So even though I read all the books, I only actually had like the numbered books in the series. And there's 2 novellas. One takes place in between books 2 and 3, and then the other one takes place in between books 3 and 4. They only kind of offer small things, and any knowledge that is like needed in them is explained in the major books, but they're just there for people who really want to get into like either the smaller details or larger cosmic stuff or stuff like that. And so I'm reading the novella that takes place in between books 2 and 3. And what's really sad is for me right now, the plot is like setting up this kind of mystery of there's like a character that the main character in the novella is going to be looking for, but because of what happens in the 4th Stormlight book, I know who that character is already. So like reading this novella now, it's kind of sad because it's like the second that like I met the character and then a little bit happened and I was like, oh, we're looking for this character. It's like, oh, okay, I got it. That, like, because I already know, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is just because I read like the story kind of out of order, but also it's nice because the novella is giving me stuff like more information about some other characters that I didn't know. And I'm still glad I'm reading it, but yeah, it's really cool. It's hard because like I want to talk more about it, but I also nobody else has read it, and like I don't want to spoil things because I actually think it's like really cool and really good. But to say it once again, so it's fucking, because I don't think I actually said the name. So it's like the books by like Brandon Sanderson. I'm reading Edge Dancer is the name of the novella I'm reading right now. And yeah, I mean that's kind of it. I have other stuff I'm going to talk about. I can kind of name drop some of them just to like make things exciting, I guess, because I'm watching Arrested Development right now, and I finished like the original run, and I started the Netflix run, but because I'm watching like the new updated version, and the last time I watched it was like the original cut, it's like a little bit better, and like I think that's like really interesting. So I want to wait till I finish season 4 and then probably 5 to talk about that. I'm watching Game of Thrones, and I finished season 2 recently. Maybe I'll talk about that next week, but there's also I might wait till I watch more of that show to talk about it. And really, it's like everything is just like I want to wait till I do more to talk about it because I'm like in the middle of it. You know what I mean? That's like what sucks.
All right. So I am counting this because I read a chapter today. I did start the series this year. So I caught up to the manga Shadow's House, which I'd actually watched. It has 2 seasons of the anime. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it somewhere before. It might have been on like one of the seasonal ones I did with like, because that's right, we did like because we did the first seasonal roundup before or after, I think, for summer, and then for spring that year I talked about it with and I might have talked about the show then, or maybe I just talked about it on just another weekly as a backlog, because I like the anime, but the manga is really fucking good. So basically, the premise is that the main character is a servant in the Shadow's house, which are basically like these people who, like, they're drawn like silhouettes, like you can't see their face or facial features at all. They're completely like black, basically. They're shadows. And then the human like characters are basically, you know, living dolls who work for them, and they act as their faces. And then as the series kind of goes on, you get more about the mystery of the house, and that, you know, the servants are being exploited and what the fuck's going on. And there's still a bunch of questions, but you know, like, I like the 2 seasons. The main character is really cute, and I like her a lot. And then, you know, it just gradually introduces more characters, and then the fucking, like, so yeah, I read the manga this year, and the art is fucking phenomenal. Like, it's a full, I don't know if it's, I want to say it's the manga is originally published this way, but I'm not sure, because I just saw that there's a black and white version, and then there's a color version. But the art is fucking phenomenal. Especially like like when the artist goes really detailed with the expressions, like, they're just really good. And also, Vindy, I think you'd like the manga because it's also a friendship manga. Like,
let's fucking go.
Yeah, she has a group of people who she debuted with, is what they call it. And like, all those characters are really good as we get more of them. And you know, she's the main character, the main pair, Emiliko and Kate, who is her shadow, basically are kind of working to dismantle the Shadow House, hopefully. And like, you know, so they're all really good as we get more of them. Like John, he's literally like a shonen protagonist where he's just like a fucking idiot. But he's just, you know, reckless and punches things, and he's really good.
Like all good characters.
Yes, he's good. And then, you know, and then they get to know more of the other the children shadows at the place, and, you know, some of them start off antagonistic, but as we learn more about them, you know, it turns, you know, it's you know, there's currently building up to this battle between like the children's wing and the adults in the main house. And there was a fucking flashback arc that answered a bunch of questions, and it was really fucking good. Fuck. And it sort of just recently hit a notable like point in regards to like the story development, but there's still quite a few mysteries to be resolved. The chapters are actually fairly short. Like, there's some of them are like 12 pages long. The one I just read was more like 17 pages long, so they're a little shorter than average. So it's, even though the series is like 150 chapters, it's you know, it's a little less than that you'd expect in volumes just because of the chapter length. But yeah, it's really good. I don't want to spoil too much of the mystery, because that's definitely a big element of the, you know, the story, is finding out more about the setting and what's going on as it continues. And but yeah, it's really fucking good. And I was glad to catch up to it. Especially when I did. I ended off on like the perfect chapter. But there's still plenty more to go. So yeah, Shadow's House, good fucking manga. And I think that about covers it for the episode.
Are we gonna do another rotation or not? Because sometimes we do too.
Yeah, we can do another rotation. Yeah, that's fine. If Vindy's down for it, because I don't know if he's gonna. I mean,
So I mean, does beginning of this month count as something that can be part of the rotation?
I mean, I don't. I wasn't gonna put up a limitation. That's not on me.
I don't really give a shit.
Okay. I mean,
am I your fucking mom?
Are you? Maybe. Feel a little bit of a womanly charm to you.
I'll take it.
Anyway, Nan, what's up?
Well, I guess if we're gonna do another one, then I could talk about Euphoria, because I finished.
I don't know if I can think of another one.
At the beginning of this month. Like I was watching like part of it last year, but it was mostly like a this month thing. I like Euphoria is so insanely good that it's like
I agree.
I really didn't expect it to go as hard as it did. Because like when I first wanted to watch Euphoria like a very long time ago, it was literally just because I was thirsty for Zendaya, so I wanted to kind of watch it. But in the show, like the character she plays, like I didn't think she was attractive.
It's like the
even
least
one
sexualized
time.
character.
Yeah,
in the show.
like
it's so funny. Like
she
all,
literally is just a
normal
normal
it's
ass.
crazy. It's
like,
so funny.
Yeah, like in terms of appearance,
so
she just
good.
looks like a normal ass girl. So it's like I just didn't even think of it like one time. I was just super into the show.
Yeah,
like
it's so good.
Like I honestly feel like it's a show that like I would super recommend to anybody to watch.
I agree.
Like what I'm into, like what I really like about it is that it's so unlike what I usually watch. I feel like, especially because like, you know, we're fucking, well, at least me, I'm fucking anime brainwashed. I've been consuming too much anime over like delving into other mediums as much as I should. So it's like, because it has this like very, very dark look on like, you know, sexuality, like drugs, like especially because the show's like literally about drug addiction and in part like sex addiction for certain other characters. Since I mean there is like a main group that it kind of switches between focusing on, like characters that they focus on.
Yeah, it's kind of a really dark and like but like hyper, I don't know how to explain it, like sexualized and other thing version of like look at like high school.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's a cool show. And I think the thing that like I'll say is like someone who's seen, you know, a bunch of like, you know, Western television, visually the show is really unique. I think it does a lot of really cool things. One thing I'll mention, none, is like the ending scene to season 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what
like
you're talking
really
about.
Cool. A lot of other scenes I think are just like, especially when characters are like doing drugs or it's showing like having sex or really anything. It like it's not afraid to be really surreal and really striking with its visuals and show things very like idealized and not romanticized in like a very literal sense, not in like a positive way.
Yeah.
But is in like a, you know, taking the emotions and stuff up to like the upteenth, you know, degree.
I think a really great thing about Euphoria is like, even if you're not at all like I would imagine the average person who watches Euphoria isn't like some drug or sex obsessed person or whatever, but like I still feel like the way it handles the subject matter, it's still like insanely relatable, especially because, you know, it is also about mental illness, because like Rue, the main character who Zendaya plays, is like just mentally ill, like just actually, and you know, a lot of the characters like have some mental illness in general, and like, you know, that's part of why they have the various addictions that they have to like cope with that. But I feel like in a lot of ways it makes you more sympathetic toward people who have those kinds of issues and understand where it comes from and how they could get to that point. And like I think it's a very, very good show and like very interesting. It's been like a little while since I watched it, so it's like hard to get into like very specific details, but I really like it. There's a really funny episode in season 2 that's like basically toward the end where there's just like, you know, the play episode where the like, one of the girls who like
insane
she isn't part of like as much of the intense, like, you know, she doesn't take drugs, she doesn't like do all these sexual things, but like she's still been affected by like being around all these people, so she's kind of like, she basically makes a play that kind of is a way of venting out her feelings kind of sort of in a creative way, and it's like kind of a look on like how they look to an outsider, and it's like super cool of like all the characters' reactions to it, because like at first some of them are mad, but then they get into it. Like most of them get into it and kind of like, you know, like there's one person who gets like, well, 2 people get really mad about it. Like it's just like a really funny and cool moment, I think.
Yeah, a good way to explain like the show I think that like neither of us have done yet is that like the show kind of has like two main like plot threads going on that kind of don't intertwine a lot, but occasionally do. And one of them is like Zendaya's plot, and a lot of that is just about her and her drug addiction and things surrounding that. And then the other side is like the high school drama, you know what I mean? Like normal romance, love triangle, convoluted shit with like a group of people that all know each other and are a lot more intimate and share a lot more scenes. Mm-hmm. And that's like the other plot of the show. And like obviously because they all go to the same school, they know each other. But I feel like for the most part, like those two plots do kind of happen mostly independently of each other. You know what I mean? Outside of like key moments.
I do like the way that Euphoria's episodes are structured with like this episode is going to focus on this character, but even though it's focusing on this character and like it starts kind of with like a look back, like it's like starts with like a flashback, for example, of this character's like childhood and like kind of the thing that molded them a little bit, and like an explanation by like Zendaya narrating. Even though it does that, the episode still very much focuses on Rue, like Zendaya's character, at the same time, even though it's like a also simultaneously like a character focused episode about this one character, but like it still managed to be like very much about Rue the entire time. And like I feel like it's kind of more entertaining in that way, kind of sort of, that it manages to like do both in one episode. Because like I always do want to know what's happening with like the main, you know, like the main focus of the story, which is like Rue and what's like going on with her. But it's cool to see like those other characters in the way that it does it. I don't know, very very good show. I like it a lot. I would literally die for, I don't remember what her name is right now, but the girl who throws the play. I can't remember her name right now. Lexi. I would literally die for her. She is so good. Great. She is so
You agree
sweet.
That Jules is like the worst, right?
Not quite the worst, but she is like kind of bad. And I haven't seen the Euphoria discussion, but I would think she's one of those characters people kind of don't really understand what she's kind of doing wrong. But I did have like actual hatred for her like after that ending of season 1 happened, but like yeah. I've like let go of that. And I don't still think kind of like
the character gets any better in season 2.
I kind of, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I think what really does it is like just like kind of, you know how like Rue has that like massive freak out in season 2, and like Jules is
which
there,
is a super cool episode, by the way, which like makes me want to point out like one thing really quickly. Sorry, just to go off on another tangent about the show, that it does really well that you kind of mentioned, but also like the show is also not afraid to have individual episodes be extremely unique from each other in terms of how they like play out, which a lot of shows don't do even in one narrative. Obviously some shows do, but like not to like the individual like variety that sometimes Euphoria has, where different episodes just feel completely different from one another, but also still feel like the same show. And I think that like that show does it really well, and there are a couple other shows that I think do it pretty well, where like they actually play with, you know, it's something that I love about BoJack Horseman, as well as like I think both those shows do a really good job of like individual episodes having like their own unique feel and identity to them, and really playing with the fact that like because you're television, you can have an episode that is formatted completely differently from everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's super cool. Like even though like at the very very start it was a little difficult to watch Euphoria just because of like I'm not used to watching very long things, and like I know it's a very like L kind of thing of like, you know, I'm used to 24 minutes, 22 minutes instead of an hour.
Right.
But I mean, like, I ended up getting super into it to the point where it's like I was literally just like binging Euphoria, and it was Look, literally like my obsession when I was to a certain point.
I know HBO have misses, okay? Like I know that they do, because there's no one that's like consistent all the time. But I've seen a good like, and I didn't watch a bunch of them growing up either, but like I've seen now a good number of like just HBO shows. I feel like they don't miss, like genuinely. Like I like every single HBO show I've seen, I feel like I fucking love. Like The Sopranos was fucking great. Game of Thrones is really good so far. I know, like, it goes off at the end, but at the end of the day, if you have, like, one bad season and, 7 fucking good ones, you know what I mean? Like, can you say the show's, like, all bad?
Yeah.
Fucking Euphoria was really good. I'm like 2 seasons into Succession. That show's fucking banging. I still haven't seen, like, The Wire or True Detective, which people also say are, like, really good. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they just, like, fucking hit. It's crazy.
Yeah. Euphoria's great. People should watch that one. I recommend it. I know I'm a big Code Geass guy, but I guess I would recommend watching Euphoria over Code Geass, as much as it hurts to admit. If I could somehow just get people to watch Euphoria, I literally love Euphoria. Like it's so good.
It's good. Like I'm excited for season 3 whenever it is, because I think
it's
really
gonna take
to
so long to come out. I'm gonna be
because season 2 was last year.
Yeah, but like I don't feel like the next season would come out until like 2024. I don't think it's coming out.
No, I think late this year is like the projection, most likely.
I mean, like I was trying to look up like what the status was, and it seemed like they hadn't started recording it yet, and Zendaya was like kind of doing other things a little bit. So like,
so sad.
Yeah. I had something else I wanted to say, but now I forgot. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I guess I'll talk about Game of Thrones, since I did finish season 2, which is like a good point to talk about it now. I think it's good. I think it's interesting. One thing I'll say really quickly is I really like the way that books adapt to seasons of television. I think it works really fucking well, because it's like, and obviously I know a lot is cut out from the book, right? Like, I don't have to have someone tell me that to know. They're like 800, 900 page books into 10 episodes in an hour each. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no shot. But I do feel like I can get a good sense of watching at least the first 2 seasons, which is, I'm pretty sure, the first 2 books. Like, the seasons have these very complete narrative arcs that aren't like, that are complete arcs the way that a book in a series is an arc. You know what I mean? Where it's, every character's story is kind of wrapping up, but giving you a hint at what the next book has in store for him, and it's like fun because of that. And also I just think like there's some fucking great characters in that fucking show. Let me tell you what, like I had mostly stayed clear. Like I know a couple spoilers for the end from like hearing discourse that people hated. And then like being someone who is semi-culturally aware in, my life in the last 10 years, dare I say the most culturally aware of the Weeb Club.
Well, fucking unnecessary.
I dare say. I know a couple things about Game of Thrones that like were so massive when they happened, they bled into, you know what I mean, everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, like, I didn't know a lot of the small stuff though. I only knew the big stuff, right? I would actually say it's really similar to like what I knew about Dragon Ball going in, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so watching the show has been really fun because like I knew that like, Peter Dinklage was a character. I didn't realize he was like the greatest character of all time. Like anytime that little guy is on screen, he fucking kills it. I swear to God, my fucking goat. All right. He's great. Like there's just so many good characters and it's like fucking cool. I don't know. It's like just really good television. I will say like it doesn't do like, what I was just praising Euphoria for, of like having episodes feel really unique. And I think the show looking really visually distinct. I think some aspects of especially season 1, when it was like clearly a little bit lower budget, looked really funny. And I think sometimes when they're like filming on a location and there's like a superimposed fantasy like castle or fantasy like location behind like what is clearly just like a hill in Ireland, it's really funny. And like it looks really like it's something that like I feel like it looks like cheapish, especially in season 1, and gives the show like a unique visual style sometimes. But I don't think that, the show does anything like, for example, interesting with like the episode to TV format. It's just kind of like, the episodes all, blend into one another, which makes it really bingeable. But, it's good. Like there's a reason I think it was as popular as it was. And from my understanding, the next few seasons only get better. So good show. I recommend it too. Like I said, I don't think HBO misses.
It's definitely a show I want to check out at some point, but
I actually just recommend watching it. Like, just start
Okay,
it.
it's weird to think that last year I was the only member of the Weeb Club who've seen Game of Thrones. I didn't finish it, but I watched more than 2 seasons. So
Okay, so you agree then? Tyrion's the fucking goat. I love
great.
him.
Yeah, for sure. There's lots of great characters, and my brother owns the books, and I'm curious about those too. So
Yeah, I love.
I did not watch the last season or 2. I forget exactly when
That's
I fell
fine.
off, just because I was like, "I'll finish it when it airs," and everyone's like, "This is terrible," and I'm like, maybe I'll just read the books.
You've seen enough that I can say a little bit more now in detail. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I love Tyrion.
Yeah.
I love Arya. Obviously, is funny.
Yes. See,
I like
can't
Rob.
just say like, oh, this character, because like even if that character is around before, like, and I'm not saying they aren't good then.
Yeah.
But, like some characters get stuff later but I don't know when, because that's the thing is I watched like seasons 1 through fucking 4 or 5, like in the same period, so I don't fucking remember what happens when. It's been fucking years.
And I'm watching the show with someone who
has seen it.
Has seen it before, and like I'm not getting things spoiled for me, but like the one thing that like they will say, and I don't mind this, is that like they'll tell me if they like or dislike a character, right? So like for example, I don't really like Jamie right now, but the person I'm watching it with will be like, yeah, I love Jamie. So like I know Jamie will eventually, you know what I mean?
The one I was thinking of was the Hound, because
the Hound is another one where it's, but by the end of season 2, I kind of like the Hound now.
Okay, there. See, I wasn't sure
because that's after after the Battle of Blackwater Bay. So he just like said, "Fuck you, Joffrey. You're like the worst," and dipped.
Yeah. See, okay, gotcha. Right, that's a good example, because I think the really good stuff with him happens after that point. Yeah. So if I just said, "Oh yeah, the Hound's really good," like you know who he is, but you're like, okay, sure, but you already have another person who you're gotcha.
Right, like I understand that people love the Hound, so but that doesn't like bother me. That makes me excited now. You know what I mean? To see like, how does he like get like fucking great? Whereas like with Cersei, it's like I actually felt like the end of like what I saw with her in like the last season like kind of humanized her a little bit. So I'm curious to see how she gets worse, presumably, with everyone not liking her at all. And there's some characters it's like I know I agree with the consensus. Like I knew that like Tyrion's probably like fucking loved, because like, okay, how can you not love him? Joffrey's just the worst,
Well, he's great at being a piece of shit. Like what was it? I think George R. Martin like messaged the actor. He's like, "You're perfect. Everyone hates you." Like after the show started, like because that's what he's supposed to be, a spoiled little fucking shit. But anyway, keep going.
But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. Like, I think it's good. I want to see where it goes. I think there are things about the conflict that I really find interesting. And I like one thing it does that I love that like Kingdom reinforces. I love a good speech. I love when a character gets in their little soapbox and starts going. And Game of Thrones has enough of them that that keeps me satisfied.
That might have made me want to get to Game of Thrones sooner.
I like one thing I find really interesting right now, and I want to see more of, is I think that the series has like an interesting way that it shows the way that like the system and the other people favor honor versus like, you know what I mean? Like the opposite, where like, what happens at the end of season 1 shows that, you know what I mean? Like in all instances, like being like as honorable as possible is not the way to go. But what that character did and who that character was left ripples through the rest of the series. And like, it's very interesting to see what other characters take from that. And also the way that like other characters like Tyrion act, where, he isn't, the most honorable guy, but he's, one of like,
he's got like an integrity to him, right?
Yeah. And like, he has morals and he has things he will and won't do. And he cares about like everyone to a level where, there's especially, in like season 2, where there's a character that's kind of, where like the stuff going on with Sansa, where like he's the only character that really ever shows her any compassion through most of the season. You know what I mean? Where like, he doesn't have to, but he is. I think like the way that though like hurts the characters is interesting, and I want to see if the series has any kind of like flip of that or shows anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As well as like I'm interested to see what happens more. Okay. One other thing I will say actually, that I think is really interesting, like narratively, is I think what happens with Daenerys at the end of season 1 is like such a great like ticking time bomb in the plot, if that makes sense. Where like now this has happened and everyone else has to get their shit together, or what happens just like wins, like outscales. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think like that's like really interesting. To also, these other characters don't know it's happening, but it's like there, and it's like this ever-present threat that like this conflict going on like is so small-headed. You know what I mean? It's great. I like that a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you're finished.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, earlier, Nunmanji kept mentioning Euphoria, and I was like, yeah, cool. Then they started talking about it. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know these characters. It's only 6 episodes long. Don't even watch it. Why would you watch it? I don't get it. That's all I've been doing last week is Euphoria, but I don't know.
Brother?
I'm so confused.
Well, like an anime that's called Euphoria or a manga or something?
Well, anyone who plays the anime or watches the anime, just play the visual novel.
What are you talking about?
God damn it, my bit didn't work. None of you have actually fucking heard of Euphoria. God damn it.
It's like a...
Now you know how I feel bringing up fucking... Oh my god.
Arrow gay or something?
I'm over it.
I literally, like, because, you know, we started the Weeb Club, I knew Nun watched Euphoria, and I'm like, I'm going to do a joke where I go through Euphoria so I could talk about it on the same episode Nun talks about Euphoria. But it's the joke is that it's a different Euphoria.
My god. This fucking guy.
It gets worse.
Oh no.
So, yeah, it is an arrow gay. It's porn. But it's not just porn. It's really fucked up porn. Like,
all right.
Okay, no, it gets worse. It's also really fucking good, like, narratively and just story-wise. Like, I've literally been playing it all day today. I've been fucking sucked in, and I'm just like, no, you're not allowed to be this good. Fuck. But it's not, like, good in a way that I can recommend to people, because, so let me just explain the basic premise. So, main character and some people from his school, a teacher, and some other students, are put into a death game kind of thing, where he has to do horrible fucked up shit to them, or they all die. The problem with that is that he's a fucking degenerate, and he's into that. And so, like, a big part of the conflict is he has self-hatred over his thing, but also he's literally living out his fantasies, and it's all fucked up. There's content warnings for a good reason. And then during each of the routes, he has these interesting, like, relationships with the characters involved. And then it gets fucking wild, and there's, like, sci-fi shit. It becomes Danganronpa, and I'm kind of, but not really, but also, yeah, it's fucking, and I'm like, when I was literally playing it earlier today, like, losing my shit over the twists and reveals that actually, like, change everything, but also make sense narratively, and it's like, but also, like, it's just, a lot of the porn stuff ends up being really funny, because of some of the dialogue choices in the translation, like, the phrase anal tyranny is used more than once.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, where is the one line that I thought it was? Because basically the orders are phrased a certain way, and this one I just thought was funny. Hold on, let me find it. This was one of the things he was told to do with one of the characters. Caress her feet and eat her out. Make her climax once. Note, fetishy. Like, what?
Oh, I see.
Interesting.
That's one of the more like you know, the game goes like there's vanilla stuff that happens in the game, and then it just goes really far on the other end of the scale, and I'm not into some of the shit.
Not into
but
some
like I guess
of
that's
it,
the thing.
but others, baby.
I've talked about being a degenerate before, and like that was kind of my struggle with the game, is because like I connected to some of the like the main character's struggle with being a degenerate and hating himself for it, and having to deal with that, and consider how other people would think and react to that. Like, That's the thing. I liked it a lot. It's already one of my favorite things I've gone through this year, and it's like, fuck, I did it for a joke. It's not supposed to be legitimately good.
Well, I think
but it's also
Love
like
Love
it's
really
in a way
lowered
like
your expectations for good media. So like, that was really dog shit. But now Euphoria is like, oh my god, something kind of good, a little bit. What the fuck?
It's more that okay, like I know you're fucking being a piece of shit, but I'm gonna keep going. It's more that like it specifically does like again with its context, it says conflict. It does things that specifically appeal to me. Like it's got the exploration. Like I also connect to Lelouch in that way because his whole thing, he's a fucking freak. He's into weird shit, and he has self hatred for it, and he has to deal with that. And like that's a big part of the reason why I like Lelouch in Beastars. And so this narrative does that, but it also goes further with the degeneracy shit. And like I don't know it, and like there's just legitimately interesting like characterization and stuff and writing and stuff. Like I kept was going down to different routes and learning more about the characters and like shit. Like this character was fucking annoying. She's like a kid, like a spoiled brat, basically, where it's like she's just been like whiny and everyone's sort of appeased her whole life, so she hasn't decided to act differently. And then as horrible shit happens to her, she's like finally she's finally in a situation where the people around her don't necessarily have her best interests in mind, and so it kind of forces her to change as a person through the fucked up shit. And I'm like, stop being interesting writing wise, no. And just like I don't know, that kept happening to me where it's just like I literally picked up the game as a joke. Like I knew it was because I'm surprised you guys haven't heard of it, but maybe not that surprised because for me, from what I've understood of it, it's like it's not as like popular.
Don't really remember about it that much.
Gotcha. Yeah, because it's like I've known like it's fetishy fucked up shit. But as a pornographic work, it's probably like a tier or two below like Boku no Pico and Bible Black as far as like infamous hentai stuff. But yeah, it turns out it's actually like good. It's just very niche. Like I would not recommend it to either of you because you have to either have like a high tolerance for gross or weird fetishy shit, or be really really fucking committed to a bit that I already did, so you guys can't do. So that's it. Yeah, like
odd individual.
You know what? At the end of the day, I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot to say about it, but it's also spoilery, and I don't know. It's like, I'll just make a Euphoria video. I don't know if I can make a Euphoria video. I don't think I can.
Post it on Pornhub.
That's what we want to see. The Craftsdwarf. That's what Pornhub wants, is analytical content.
Dude, some
Only
people would
fans
watch
as well.
it. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right?
I don't know, maybe, but it's like
I'm
technically not even done. Like I literally have like maybe 10 minutes left of the epilogue. Like I literally like was trying to finish it, and it's like we gotta record the episode. Fuck it. Maybe none won't even talk about Euphoria, and then it did. So it's like, well, I gotta talk about it now. Oh well.
Nah, Euphoria. I mean, I maybe would have not talked about it, but it is also just like easily one of my favorite things.
No, that's the thing. It's like I'm interested in the show, but I also just have a terrible sense of humor and a horrible ability to commit to a bit if I need to. Like I have other things. Like I just gave my list of shit I wanted to do this year, and I'm not doing it right now because I've been playing fucking Euphoria, and it's like, no, what am I doing? All right, I think I'm about done with what I have to say. I can't think of anything more off the top of my head. Yeah, that's about it.
Tiki.
Alrighty, is that gonna be it for this episode?
For everyone who made it this far, yeah.
Well, you're forgetting the thing that we sometimes usually do. Sometimes
I have nothing. I don't know. I can't tell you. Life is what it is, and I talk about what I talk about.
Next week. Yeah, I have a whole fucking list of shit to talk about. I have. Hold on, let me count. I have like 16 things I could potentially talk about.
Jesus.
Maybe.
You know,
and then,
we'll see.
So yeah, I'm not gonna list them. Yep. All right. Anyway, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Adios, gamers.
Unfortunate.